Tenders were received in late January for the refurbishment and extension of the Casino Cottage building to allow for use as a new home for the Fry Model Railway Collection. The tender assessment process has been concluded. In accordance with tendering procedures, a letter of intent is issued and a formal award of contract will issue to the successful contractor first week in April. A commencement notice will issue to allow mobilising and start on site in mid-April 2018. The works are contracted to last 45 weeks, finishing on site mid-February 2019. Bright 3D Environmental have been successful in their tender for the Fry Model Railway Exhibition. A meeting will be arranged to allow councillors view the contractor's exhibition proposal and input into the design development of the scheme. The exhibition construction has been programmed to take 6 weeks to install on site following completion of the main refurbishment contract. It should be noted that the estimated cost of the project as set out in the capital programme was 2.4 million. Following receipt of the tenders and additional works required, this is now coming in at just under 2.7 million euro. The increased costs relate to construction inflation over the lifetime of the contract, which has been estimated at circa 150,000 euro. More extensive mechanical and electrical works to deliver an energy efficient building. Extensive works are now required to repair and stabilise the boundary walls with adjoining property following site investigation works. Some additional works required for disability access certificate and some additional works added to make external areas easier to maintain. It is estimated that the full scheme will be completed by end of Q1 2019.
Thank you very much for the report. Councillor Lavin.
Thank you for the report. Great that we will hopefully have work starting mid-April, which is only 11 days away. We're optimistic in that, I take it. I know the report was probably written a few days ago. I take it that the letter of intent issued in the first week of April, that's happened, hopefully at this stage. Unfortunately, I think we are seeing the downside of the delays in the extra 300,000 that's going to be required, and what can we do about that now at this stage? Not a lot. So it's disappointing to see that the budget is stretching out, and also that the full completion date is now March, the end of March 2019. This is the fear that every time we hear it's getting a little bit longer, and it seems to be generally going that direction. So I think we're going to have to start trying to pull it in to make sure that not only is the building complete on the 31st of March, but that the exhibition, which will take 6 weeks, presumably that's all in to happen by the 31st of March. Okay, anyway, thank you.
Councillor Gearan.
Sorry, no, just if you could come back. I mean, it seems that we've gone 12.5% in additional costs, and I'm just curious how they're additional, because is it something that we missed? Because, I presume the work required for disability access certificate didn't change because of the delay or stabilising boundary walls or that. Like, it seems a big jump. Just wondering how 12.5%, if it was additional work, I could understand it, but it seems to be work that would have been required in the initial drawing of the tenders and costings.
Councillor O'Brien. Yeah, thanks for the update. Just a couple of questions in terms of first off, in terms of the finance. Could you give us a breakdown actually of the amount from the original bequest that is still in play? I know that was partially used to purchase the facility itself. So in terms of the 2.7 million, I know we had committed an extra €1 million from council's own funds towards this project. So are we saying now that that's now to become 1.3 million and the other 1.4 is from the bequest? You might just clarify that. In relation to the tenderer for the model railway exhibition, Bright 3D Environmental, you might just give us a bit of background on the kind of projects that they've been involved in. Obviously, I mean, all of us had expressed an interest in getting involved and seeing the display or what the plans for the display would be, so that we could feed back in issues. So, you know, and I'm happy to see that within the report. But you might just give us a bit of background on that company itself. But yeah, the breakdown of the cost, what amount of money is still in play from the bequest, I'd like to just get a handle on. As Councillor Lavin said, and we're banging this drum all the time, you know, the delays in this project, Councillor Gearan mentioned it too, the delays in this project have, you know, caused massive frustration locally. You know, we just want to be assured that that everything is being done from the Fingal County Council side to ensure that this is kept on track. I think even with the report that came out last month mentioning that, you know, contractors will be on site mid-April, even with that information being in the public domain, people are still going, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. You know, so you know, I'm dying to see the activity down there so that it's actually visible that, you know, there's you know, the process, the end game has started. You know, that we're going to see this through into a world-class facility that we all want to see. So I'll leave it at that, and I know we'll have a further update next month. But I'd appreciate the information on the questions I've asked. Thanks.
Councillor Redmond. Thanks, Chair. Just a quick one on the escalation in cost. So we're now €300,000 more than we thought we were going to be, and I'm just wondering if the manager is happy that the money is available somewhere. Is it going to come from kind of general works budget? Is there going to be, if there's another escalation, does the manager anticipate there being a point where we will not be able to afford to deliver this? And I'm just, as Councillor Gearan said, I'm just kind of a bit concerned we've jumped 12.5% since we were last speaking.
Okay, Councillor Lavin first. The completion is mid of the building contract is mid February, and the exhibition contractor will follow on immediately. We will endeavour to get that shortened, but I think that 6 weeks would be probably a reasonable time for them to set up, which will allow the delivery of it at the end of March. Councillor Gearan, on the 12.5% additional cost, the cost is compared with the cost plan which was prepared in mid-2017, which didn't have full knowledge of some of these additional works. Construction inflation has been estimated as a fairly high element of that, but some of the works, as the design progressed and the standards that we are obliged to adhere to now, those costs may not have been included in the original cost estimate. A cost estimate when it was prepared would have a margin of error of about 10%, so it wouldn't be unusual to have some increased cost of up to 10%. And Councillor O'Brien, the finance from the original bequest, I think of the 1.5 million bequest, I think there's approximately 1 million still available. The purchase of the house, the purchase of the train collection, and the legal fees, I think, have already eaten into that bequest. So it's the order of 1 million. The funding, I'm not sure where the manager have committed to the funding of the additional work. We have approval to that expenditure, and we envisage that the documents, the tender documents are very detailed, and we envisage that that would be the maximum we would be going to at this stage. In relation to Bright 3D Environmental, they're a company based in Edinburgh, in Scotland. They have completed work before for Fingal County Council in Malahide in the exhibition areas there. They've also worked extensively with the OPW on recent museums, the Pearse Museum in Galway, and they've completed a number of train exhibitions in the UK. So they're very very extensive portfolio of work. I can send images of some of their work, but they're quite a good company, or a good track record in museum and exhibition design. Councillor Redmond. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Councillor O'Brien, just in relation to the bequeath monies, I'll come back on that. We'll go through the full list just to make sure that we have all of the details, what is actually available to date. So we'll come back to you on that. Councillor Redmond, in relation to the increased costs, yes, there will be increased costs, but we are fully committed to making sure this project is done. If that has to be funded, the deficit over a number of years in the capital programme, we won't be coming from the revenue, it will be coming from capital funds. Is that okay?
And is there a point, have you discussed a point at which you're not going to fund?
Not at this stage. I mean, we will be going ahead with the project as it stands, and an operator will have to be engaged to operate it, and that will be coming from the revenue account. But in terms of the capital funds will be made available to ensure that this project proceeds.
Councillor O'Brien.
Just on the issue of the finances, perhaps it would be helpful for next month's report to give a detailed breakdown of what has been expended on the purchase of the casino and what's left to feed into the current project. That would be useful information.
Absolutely, that's no problem. We can go ahead and we'll give you that information. Okay.
From my own point of view, I think it's great to see the progress on it. It's great to see the detail. Having worked on tenders on projects like this at various stages, particularly where there is some inflationary pressure within the construction market, I don't see it as being. I don't see that as being an excessive amount. I don't see there being any appetite from anybody here to, on the basis of a 12% change as a result of an open tendering process, where sometimes the room for negotiation is less. And it's one of the downsides from other projects that we've been talking about, is sometimes you don't get as hard in terms of a negotiation as you might in terms when you're using a tendering process. But I think we'd all support putting additional resources, and we're in the capital position that we're able to do so. So I want to thank you very much for the report. I don't know if anybody has No, note the report. Thank you very much.